Oh, it is time, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're having a lovely day. Thank you as always for joining me here on the channel, whether it's your first time, your last time, your second time. I just appreciate you being here. We are going to go ahead and finish out Magma's sixth studio album, released 1976, Udu Voodoo. We're going to finish out with the side 2 track, De Futura, De Futura. Whatever it is, it's the future or of the future. I'm excited to get into it. There have been so many comments that have been waiting for me to listen to this track, and I'm excited to listen to it because the album thus far has had a lot of variety in what they've done. Obviously this is a different album and different from, the album we first listened to of Commando Destructa, etc., etc. But it's just cool to see the sound from the band evolve in different ways, and to be honest, very unexpected ways. So I'm really curious to find out what De Futura has in store for us. Now, I did spend some time looking for lyrics, and although I know that their lyrics are generally in Kabayan, I could not find anything. I couldn't find a translation. I can't find a thing. So we're just gonna go into it and just listen to the track and do our best at explaining it and reacting to it. So let's go ahead and do that. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's go. I like this sci-fi dystopian march we just immediately jumped into. I love the groove. Ghostly whispers from the keys over here. Deep fuzz bringing it back from the grave. I love how they just... I love Vander's drumming. It's so heavy and kind of orchestral. Hold back the beat a little bit. beautifully impressive. Janik's ripping up that bass too. The smallest of rests. The growl on that bass is mean. Drum flip, I heard it. They give you these little rests with the piano taking lead. Little breaks. It doesn't usually last too long. Love the beat. The drums are just... Oh, slow down. That is awesome. I love the vocals there. We gotta talk about that. We gotta talk about that. Not now. And now with that extra speed, it kind of hits a little different. Sounds like sirens on the left. Even changes the pattern on the kick. It's just always changing, always revolving. Doesn't it sound like sirens? It's building. You just feel this energy being held back, about to blow up. This destruction held back. heard it. I heard it. Speeding up again, because why not? This is like I'm getting signals from aliens right now. Don't you get chills when you hear this part? Pressing the restart button. Outro riff. Speeding up again. Expecting techno back in to come out now. Ooh. What a fantastic track. This was a wonderful experience. That is like the best way that I can really sum up how I feel about this as a whole. We're going to dive deeper, but as a whole, for me, how cool to experience this. This is such a unique sound. The band is just incredible with how they pull off everything. I don't even know where to start. Christian's drumming in here, I find really, 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 really well done. First of all, just taking the whole sound as a whole, they have this very, to me, sci-fi, dystopian, oppressive, and yet beautiful sound that they thrive in. Because the music here is incredibly heavy. I mean, incredibly heavy. Especially Janek's bass, who's also handling synthesizers and stuff. Or I'm sorry, well, he is, just not on this track. But Christian's handling that. But especially the bass, the growl in the tone is so deep and so low. It's like if you were lost in the wilderness at night and you know you're kind of out there and you're kind of just trying to survive and you find this cave, you kind of slip in there hoping to just find some shelter for the night and you're kind of starting to drift off to sleep and then you hear something breathing behind you and you know that there's this big snarling wild beast of an animal and you know what you hear besides its breathing, you hear its stomach rumble, and you know that you're about to be an entree. You know you're about to be a late night snack. That stomach rumble of a hungry beast is what I hear when I hear Janik's bass. Just so incredibly deep, but also hungry. I love the momentum it pushes. I love the sound that it pushes because the song is not amelodious at all. Like, it has a deep melody to it. It's just a deeper melody. But then those keyboard synths that come up on top that almost sound vocal. It sounds somewhere halfway between like a vocal line, not quite as high as a theremin, but something of a similar kind of wavelength, for lack of a better word. And kind of operatic, perhaps, even if you want to push it towards that. But every time that synth line arose, it just kind of lifted everything. Because, yeah, you have the deep, deep bass, but then you have these floaty synthesizer lines that would come out. And it was so wonderful how the music would really open up and explode at those moments, because the drums especially would really open up at those moments there too. So the whole song kind of had like a little bit of I would say not even a little bit, it did have a symphonic and orchestral kind of feel. And let me come back to Christian on the drums, because yeah, obviously the drumming was nice in here, but I think it's a little bit more beyond nice. I don't know how Christian stacks up against other drummers in the industry, and honestly it doesn't really matter that much because I enjoyed thoroughly what I heard of his performance here. He could have easily played a very repetitive beat throughout this whole thing, applying minor changes to it. Because as a whole, the track is pretty repetitive. Yeah, it has its changes, but its changes are more in atmosphere and increasing tension and releasing tension, rather than actual compositional changes. You know, there's not like a lot of random elements being thrown in and out of here. I love that, first of all, because I like how we take something, we take a groove, we take a melody, we start a foundation, and then let's just build on the foundation. Not changing the foundation, not going off and doing all these other things. Let's just stick with what we got. It's a good thing. Let's build off of it. Probably part of the attraction to metal. We start off with a really good riff. Let's just build off of that. We don't need to throw in a bunch of other stuff. So I like how Magma and Futura have done a similar thing. And I think it comes across very well done because of the way that each of the members handles all that atmosphere. But coming back to Christian's drumming, he is incredibly and thoroughly detailed in his drumming. Even within certain beats and sections, he's not afraid to slip in not a whole fill, but to slip in perhaps like a few extra kicks on the back end before coming back to the beat. Or perhaps fill in a little quick fill, some extra crashes. He's always adding something. He's always looking for the next thing. He's not satisfied being relegated to a pocket groove, even though he's clearly in a certain kind of pocket. He's always looking to accent and to put something extra in the music. And I think that with that in mind, the music really does begin to take on this certain life of its own. It feels very organic. The music really begins to breathe up and down. You can even figuratively see its chest moving. Like, there's a very strong jazzy bass into it as well. And even when you have moments like this that are, in a sense, a little bit perhaps spooky, there's a little bit of a haunting vibe to it, we're always going to come meteor crashing back down to earth with those deep, deep bass notes from Janet. And the patterns that they're coming up with, the band as a whole, sure, but Christian's the one really leading this, the patterns are interesting to listen to, and it's not stagnant. And then as soon as you kind of get used to it, you're kind of getting with it, they change it. Not to throw you off your groove, but to insert a new kind of groove into that rhythm. I just think it's incredibly smart what they do. Very spacey, very celestial, and very kind of cosmic as well. And I like how maybe about halfway through or so, I don't know the exact times, but they begin to insert these little moments of respite, these little rest. Oftentimes that's when like the piano will come in and play a few chords, and then there's this big space, and then they pop you right back into it. It's not like it's not like a big interlude or anything. It's just a quick little break, just a little something, and then we get back into it. Eventually the kabayan comes back in. Now, speaking of that, I do like the vocals, yeah, like obviously, but I don't remember the mark, but I said it during the track. We got to talk about it. the moments when Christian, for lack of better words, starts growling, or at least deeply speaking in the music, I love that personally because it sounds so much, while not quite crossing the Rubicon, so to speak, but it sounds so much like a death growl from death metal and, of course, harder metal music. And I like that sound. So it was just really cool to hear something very, very reminiscent of that, of course, being done at this time and point. And it was pulled off so well. No cheese, no over dramatizations, no necessarily loud screaming, even though I like that as well, but there wasn't any of that. But like it just came across so thematically well placed inside the music at these points. I don't know exactly where it was. It's somewhere around here, I think. You can kind of, not growling, but you can kind of hear some chanting, if you will. That's not exactly the word I want to use. It's more of like a march. This is to me more like marching, more like an intergalactic and an interstellar military group marching towards battle of some sort, or to put down some rebellion, or something like that. And then you have that ending that completely changes everything, the outro riff, which obviously is completely different from this, because now you get this. So throughout the track, they're speeding up a lot of sections, which just continues to engulf us in their fiery chaos. But then they eventually cool everything back down and insert this new riff, still heavy, but they slow it back down again. And then from here, you just hear a lot of like clattering and some sort of kind of metallic and industrial sounds that are kind of bouncing back and forth in the speakers, and then eventually they all culminate, and then the track is over. I think that this was a fantastic listen. I think the album as a whole is actually very accessible. There's a lot of different sounds and a lot of different kind of surroundings and atmospheres you're getting out of the band, and a lot of different diversity in sound and music that you're getting. So I think that this was actually a really, really fun album to listen to. I would highly recommend it to someone who wants to get into Magma, but maybe isn't ready to step into, I don't know, I can only speak to one album, but maybe not ready to step quite into that. I think this is a great starting and jumping off point for anyone new. Anyways, great album, great listen. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. Of course, I would love to know what you thought of this one in the comments down below. You're more than welcome to follow me on the channel, to subscribe and like the video before you leave. You can also support me and what I do on Patreon if you want to go that route. You don't have to, but obviously it helps. And otherwise, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I see a little bit of rain coming, so I don't have anything to worry about because I'm inside. But anyways, enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you all tomorrow. I almost said till later. I do that sometimes. Bye, guys.